It took a while, but Deadpool is back and he's fighting tornadoes and teaming up with Wolverine to protect people from dangerous weather. And you know, I might have been in the wrong theater. It's a special twofer for you today, children, as not only am I looking at the eagerly anticipated Deadpool and Wolverine, but I'm also looking at the sequel no one asked for, but everyone deserved. Twisters. I'm doing this, of course, because I was kind of out of the country when Twisters hit, and even though the iron is cold, I still want to talk about it. But first, Deadpool and Wolverine is a 2024 superhero action comedy starring Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman. In it, Deadpool goes on a universe-hopping tour to worm his way into the MCU and become Marvel Jesus. But to do that, he's got to bring back Wolverine to make things more marketable because more Hugh means more money. This is a spoiler-free review, by the by, and I highly encourage you to see this movie unspoiled, as there are a lot of surprises that would be a shame if they were ruined for you. Seriously, see this movie and avoid social media and all of YouTube until you've seen it, except this video, because this video is spoiler-free. Daddy treats you nice. I can't think of a single person who has been fully satisfied by Marvel's multiverse saga, mostly because Marvel seems timid to actually explore a real multiverse and make the stakes of it matter. So it's quite fascinating that this R-rated, raunchy, and fourth-wall-breaking comedy handles the multiverse better than any other Marvel movie has so far, the exception being What If. But Deadpool and Wolverine is far more entertaining. Why is this? What does Deadpool bring that the rest of this saga hasn't? I think that can be summed up with just one word. It's fun. Deadpool and Wolverine takes the concept of an infinite universe and has genuine fun with it in a way that the Multiverse of Madness and even Loki didn't. I'm not sure why Marvel has been so hesitant with just having fun with the multiverse or even exploring it. But Deadpool does what Deadpool do and has a good time doing it. So I know what you're asking. How can Deadpool and Wolverine bring back Wolverine and still respect the brilliant film that was Logan? Well, they do. And yet they don't. Again, no spoilers here, but this is the kind of movie that lays out its mission statement in the first 5 minutes and lets you know exactly what to expect. The sacred timeline may be sacred, but little else is. And yet, it is. Okay, so you know how The Mask is this amazingly funny movie, and Son of the Mask is one of the worst pieces of garbage ever made? Well, did Son of the Mask keep The Mask from being funny in any way? No. The Mask is still a well-regarded film, and always will be. The same thing with Logan. It's well-regarded, respected, and always will be, even in Deadpool and Wolverine, but they are going to play with it as well, because Logan will always be well-regarded and respected. But they're going to play with it. You know what I mean? Listen, Deadpool and Wolverine may be many things, but disrespectful isn't one of them. And I really think that's what makes this movie as good as it is. True, it's the cinematic equivalent of a 6-year-old smashing their action figures together, but it also has reverence for Wolverine. It has a reverence for the MCU, and it has a reverence for the now defunct 20th Century Fox Cinematic Universe. It plays in the dirt, but doesn't desecrate the graves, so to speak. Okay, it does desecrate the graves, but doesn't. I think that was one thing I wasn't expecting, was that Deadpool and Wolverine doesn't dance on the grave of 20th Century Fox, but rather this serves as a respectful swan song for that universe of films that, like it or hate it, produced some darn fine entertainment. I'll admit, I even got a little misty-eyed at times during this wonderful tribute to 20th Century Fox that played during the end credits. I'm not weak. I have emotions. I'm sorry that you're an emotionally stunted person. Now, there are a couple of flaws in this movie. One of them is that it does have a rather bloated runtime, and there are some talky and draggy parts in the second half, which is odd because there's a scene in the first 15 minutes of the movie where Deadpool is somewhere doing something, no spoilers, sorry, and all I could think of is, why is he here? What is he doing here? How is he here? Did I miss something? I just had the feeling that a line or two got cut that explained everything, but it wasn't put in, but all the talky stuff was later. Hey, I'm not for movies spoon-feeding us information, but I am for movies making sense, and even though it's a funny scene, it didn't make sense. And one line of dialogue would have made it make sense. The second flaw is Cassandra Nova. Emma Corrin plays the part with fantastic delight and abandon, and comes off as a dangerous and unbeatable adversary. But Nova is portrayed as little more than a mustache-twirling villain being driven by nothing more than just being bad for badness' sakes. It just seems to me that in a movie that gave Deadpool and Wolverine both satisfying character arcs, a little bit of that characterization could have been thrown in Cassandra's way, because in the comic, she is the result of trauma and rejection. It's what made her. And in a movie about entire realities being thrown away, I just feel like something more could have been done with the character. Still, this is probably the best MCU movie since No Way Home. It's a fun road trip that careens into a whirlwind of frivolity, the type of fun that movies like this should be. Ryan and Hugh are on point during the entire film. They have this magnificent chemistry with each other, to the point that I really hope this isn't the last of them that we see teaming up again. There's a sequel in this. Multiple sequels. Just throw money at these two stars and make it happen, Marvel. Oh, and the cameos. If there's one thing that you should remain completely unspoiled on, it is the cameos. There were at least two of them that I audibly reacted to in surprise in the audience whenever they appeared, one of whom I honestly thought we would never, ever, 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 ever see again. I said a bad word. I was in the audience, I saw this character pop up, and I said a bad word. That's how surprised I was. I'm sorry. What's more, the inclusion of these surprise characters also serves a narrative purpose. It's not, oh hey, here's a cameo for the sake of being a cameo. These are characters looking for something, meaning, an ending, a chance that they never got. This is the kind of cameo I love, a cameo that is not only surprising, but a cameo that actually serves the story and the character that appears. So Deadpool and Wolverine, it's funny, it's fun, and it means something. Strangely enough, I actually think that this is the weakest of the three Deadpool movies because it doesn't fill out its runtime as effectively as the previous two did. But the weakest of the Deadpool movies is like being the weakest of your three favorite flavors of ice cream, because all of them are amazing. And they all make me instantly happy. If Deadpool and Deadpool 2 were 10s, Deadpool and Wolverine is a 9.8. Still an audience pleaser, and that's pretty good. So see it! Deadpool and Wolverine is amazing, and I'm glad I saw it. My life is fulfilled. And now a quick review of Twisters, because there's not a lot to say, to be honest. Hold on a second, let me do something about that. There we go. So Twisters is a 2024 action movie starring Daisy Edgar Jones, Glenn Powell, and Anthony Ramos. In this sequel in name only to Twister, a researcher who lost her entire team to a tornado is pulled back into the suck when a former associate of hers talks her into coming with him to study the makeup of tornadoes. But upon meeting a handsome tornado chaser, she reevaluates her own life mission and adopts another: to kill a tornado! Yes, really. Okay, so when I say I don't have a lot to say about Twisters, I don't mean that it's a slight against the film, because this is really quite enjoyable. Stupid, but enjoyable. Think about this. Think about how you feel about the original Twister. It was a dumb, fun action movie with great special effects and action. Twisters is a dumb, fun action movie with great special effects and action. That's really it. Sure, I could make fun of the dumb science, the ability that the characters have to repeatedly drive into and drive out of unescapable situations with nary a scratch on them or their vehicles. But why? Why pick apart something when you can just enjoy it? Why be a pill when you could just shut up instead? So I say that this is a sequel to Twister in name only, and that's only because it is. There are no cameos, and I think I only saw one physical link to the original movie with the brief return of Dorothy, which honestly goes nowhere and does nothing. I was kind of expecting an appearance by Helen Hunt or one of the other surviving characters, but none of them show up. None are mentioned. You can watch Twisters and enjoy it without even knowing that the original movie even happened. But you should watch the original movie because it's got Philip Seymour Hoffman and Bill Paxton in it, and both those men are amazing. But honestly, it's a refreshing way to revisit this universe. Just an adventure with tornadoes and name recognition. I don't mind it. It's almost like it ignores the original, and that's fine. It doesn't help the original, it doesn't hurt the original, it just plays with the original's toys. Still, there's going to be comparisons to the original, and so let's just get this out of the way. The original is better. Call it better storytelling or the limitation and expense of digital effects in the 90s, but Twister used the tornadoes sparingly and made them more mysterious and dangerous. Twisters has got a lot of them going at once, and it demystifies them as a result. They're not dangerous, and they were... Well, okay, they Borgified the tornadoes, the way Voyager deborged the Borg, so to speak. The tornadoes have been de-twistered. Strangely enough, I also have to talk about the score, which is so underwhelming that I don't have the words for it. Twister has this incredible score that I actually had on CD back in the days when CDs were still a thing. Twisters, on the other hand, is so forgettable, I've forgotten it. Now, Daisy Edgar Jones and Glenn Powell are a lot of fun together. Both of them have a ton of charisma and work well with each other, and Anthony Ramos is always a pleasure to see in anything. I mean, come on, he was the high point of the last Transformers movie. That's talent. So yes, Twisters is dumb as hell, but it's also fun. Particularly when you realize that Twisters has almost the same plot as Aliens. Think about it. It stars a woman with PTSD who lost her entire crew to a monster, and who, at the urging of a sinister company stooge, has to face that monster again and defeat it using machines and science. Yeah. It's fun. Go watch it. And that is Deadpool and Wolverine and Twisters, which, honestly, if you take it as one title, would have been a great movie. Deadpool and Wolverine and Twisters. Maybe for the next Deadpool sequel. Marvel. Thanks a ton to my Patreons, John Borg, James Gibbons, and Bradley Amiel Julian. You are the Wolverine to my Deadpool, in that if we met in real life, you'd probably get tired of me and stab me or something. If you would like to become a Patreon, to give me money and not stab me, check the link in the video description below, or click on this thing that should be right here, right now. If you're not a subscriber, why not fix that glaring personality flaw and become one by pressing that subscribe button, and then become an absolute icon by clicking the notification button so that you can be the first to know when I post new stuff. Did you know you can also become a channel member and get these videos early? You can become a channel member and get these videos early. Look into that as well. You'll be glad you did. So thank you for watching, and I hope you come back next time to find out what Jason watches. Doors this way. Forgot my wallet.